I'm going to go over the solutions to our second quiz that we had for this past week that dealt with our work for Chapter 7. This is the graph. We had 4 specific questions pertaining to the graph. Each question pertained to a specific aspect. The first question focused in on should the firm produce and is it going to generate a profit or a loss. And when we look at that first question here, what you should have recognized, this would have been the correct solution was C. In other words, this particular company will incur a loss of $5,000 but should operate rather than shut down. Why? Why is this the correct answer from this particular graph? First of all, Chapter 7, matter of fact, we can go back to Chapter 6 and probably all the way back into Chapter 5 with costs. We know that to either maximize profits or minimize losses, we want to produce where marginal costs intersects with my marginal revenue, and that's right here. Well, what we do at this particular intersection is that we want to read up to my demand, and the dark bold line is my demand line, and that will give me my price. Well, my price here is $20 per unit, and this tells me that at 20 I'm going to be able to sell 1,000. Okay, 20 times 1,000 is $20,000 in revenues. That's what I'm going to receive. Now, what is it costing me to produce a unit? Well, you can see that my average total cost curve is above this demand line. Well, this tells me if I continue to go from this point up to my average total cost curve that it's costing me $25 to produce one unit. Well, in that case, that would be what? $25,000, but I'm only receiving 20,000 minus 25. I have a loss of $5,000. Now, why am I still producing? Well, if I would not produce anything, my fixed cost is the difference between my average total costs and my average variable costs, which is $13 times 1,000 would be $13,000. So that's my fixed cost. So it's cheaper for me to continue to produce. My losses are going to be lower. If we go down to the second, if the firm shuts down, it will incur a loss equal to its fixed cost. Well, as I've already explained, $13,000. The difference, $25 to produce a unit, minus the variable cost of $12 will give me $13 per unit. For a fixed cost times 1,000 is $13,000. Then it says the firm's total variable cost. Well, my variable cost is 12. Once again, times 1,000 is $12,000. And then the final question is, what's my revenues for this particular company? Well, once again, marginal revenue intersects with marginal cost. I read up to my demand, look for the price, 20, and multiply it by 1,000. And that gives me my total revenues of $20,000. So hopefully this helps from the standpoint of just kind of going over this little quiz that we had. It was harder than the other 2 quizzes, but that's really how we would answer quiz 2, the solutions to each of the 4 questions. Go back over it, study it again, just so you get into your so-called comfort zone with this type of graph to answer these types of questions.